A former managing director of the World Bank, Dr. Okonjo Iweala, has advocated for the launch of a global vaccine bond to help curb the spread of the ravaging COVID-19 pandemic. We're giving more clarity about the proposed debt instrument on our Business Morning program. Dr. Okonjo Iweala explains how government can leverage the capital market at this time. Let's take a listen.
What I'm talking about is, Gavi, a multilateral organization, would raise the resources using this instrument on the capital markets. And then it would be used to fund developers of the vaccine, manufacturers, and fund the delivery of the vaccine, which is going to be quite expensive. People are estimating billions of dollars to be able to do this work. So this is not for sovereign governments to borrow in order to get the vaccine, no. We are looking at a situation where the world looks at this as a global public good. Everybody contributes, giving their guarantees to raise this money, and then the vaccines are given to governments and to people at very affordable prices. So this does not entail any loan on any part of government.
I mean, the African Development Bank recently issued a $3 billion COVID-19 bond. How is this vaccine bond different from this?
Yeah, the COVID-19 bond, which is also a good instrument, is slightly different. The COVID-19 bond that was raised by the African Development Bank was to make resources available to governments on the continent to be able to access these resources at the ADB's terms. Some will be concessional, from what I understand, meaning very low interest rates, and other resources will be at the normal ADB rates. But what it means is that they are trying to make resources, money available to government so that they can borrow it from the bank and buy equipment and supplies and test kits and all the things that they need to fight COVID-19. That is a very different issue from having the world use the IFIM bond to raise resources to finance a vaccine that will be good for everybody in the world. So one is for sovereign governments to borrow. That is the COVID-19 bond of the ADB. The other one is for a global public good to raise resources to develop and deliver vaccines.
Now, aside from this vaccine bond offer, how can various governments, particularly in Africa, leverage the capital market to tackle the issue of COVID-19?
Well, let me say that, this is a humanitarian crisis, and then it's an economic crisis. And a lot of countries are already struggling with considerable debt. So it will be important to tap all the concessional resources available first, where you can get either grants, and there are several organizations that give grants, like Gavi, the Global Vaccine Alliance, my organization. You have the Global Fund. They also give grants. Then you have low interest loans from some of the multilaterals, like the African Development Bank, the World Bank, the IMF, and so on. I would tap those sources first before trying to go on any capital markets at this time. I think those sources hopefully should be enough for the health aspect. Now, when it comes to economic recovery, then we begin to look at, okay, what additional sources? There's a concerted move by leaders on the continent who have appointed some of us as envoys, the African Union, to try and see how we can tap resources from all over the world to support the work that Africa is doing, both from the private sector, the public sector, the multilaterals. So what I'm trying to say to you is, for this kind of crisis, given that governments some of them are struggling with debt all over the continent, as much as one can leverage grants, very, very low interest loans first to deal with the crisis, that will be preferable to going on the capital markets at this time.
Well, that's all on the program tonight. Thank you for watching. I'm Edidiong Iwang. Do remember to stay home and stay safe.